Hey y'all, I'm Pam with 44 Marketplace. And if today's your first visit to my channel, thanks so much for tuning in. I'm glad you're here. Please take a minute to subscribe and click the bell so you'll be notified each time I upload a video. If you like my videos, give me a thumbs up. And keep in mind, I try to put a material list in the comments below each one of the videos. If I missed something, please let me know. Okay, let's get started.
Hey, I guess you noticed this coming weekend is the Hallmark countdown to Christmas, and if you know me, you know I love that stuff. And a friend of mine who loves me bunches sent me this shirt. So I had to wear it tonight so that you guys could see how super awesome it is. Thank you, Janet. You know I love it. Okay, so enough talking about Hallmark, even though I could talk about it all day. We are going to look at our rusty truck piece. You know, we started it a couple weeks ago, but I wasn't on here on Dixie Belle's page. Last Monday, I had somebody else on here, and I had grands, and I got a new grandbaby and all of that. So I'm going to show you where we are. I'm going to tell you how we got there, and I'm going to tell you what we're going to do next. All right, so this is our rusty truck piece. If you remember, last time we did Rusty Nail, we did Antebellum Blue, and we did collard greens, as well as some coffee bean, and we also used some Dixie Belle Bronze Patina paint, okay? So I want you to see how we got to where we are, and I'm going to kind of move the camera around a little bit and show you where we are, but I'm going to tell you I did some things in the previous 2 weeks. You guys have no idea how hard it is for this to sit here and wait till I got to go live again to kind of catch you guys up. But I did monkey with it a little. I'm going to show you what I did. I mixed coffee bean with, I thought I had it over here, sorry. I mixed coffee bean with Deep Woods, okay? I love a little bit of a shimmer. Even though I want it to be a rusty truck, I still want it to be a pretty rusty truck, you know? So I took Deep Woods and I mixed it with coffee bean, and I added a little bit here and there to give it a little bit of the shimmer that you see. So I'm going to spin it around a little so that you guys can see what I've done to this side. You can see on the sides, you can see a little bit more of the rusty truck look. And I let a little bit more of the rusty nail show here, and the other side is very similar, so that you guys kind of know where we are with this, because you helped me pick the colors. And I'm going to show you the hardware. This is the hardware that I opted to go with. I kept the original hardware, which is another thing that I'm kind of have a hard time with. This is the hardware, and I made the hardware similar to where we are in the piece, so that the hardware does not stand out, because the whole point of this piece was I just want it to be colorful yet neutral. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of what we were going for, was colorful yet neutral. I debated on, I even dolled up my would you band to go right here in the center so that it would be super awesome. We were going to heat it up and put it on there, but guess what? I have somebody who may want it without the would you band. So the would be, look at that. This would you band is the Bomb Diggity. It is, what number is it? 2089. It is a beautiful medallion, and I've tricked it out so that it looks gorgeous with my piece. But now that I've had a customer come in and look at it, I'm not going to put it on yet. So you guys may get to see the live where I put it on. If she opts not to get it, we're putting the would you band on there. But these are my handles, and I did use similar colors on the handles so that they're kind of funky. I don't know if you saw my Apollo video that I did day before yesterday, but in my Apollo video, I went over a sprayer that I'm kind of working on. Guess what came in today? The other part for me to make the hybrid. So I'm going to be in Worlds tomorrow at 3 p.m., and we're going to talk about tuning up your sprayer, and we're going to talk about mixing two sprayers together to make you guys a hybrid. So watch me at 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time in World, and you'll get to see it. Now what we're going to do is, she loves kind of what I've done to the top, so we're going to go back into the top and we're going to use Dixie Belle's bronze patina paint with no reactive solution. She really likes the way that it's kind of coming together, and I can't say that I dislike it. This is not what I had in mind when I started, but I told you if you listen, the piece will talk to you. So we're going to kind of do that, and a lot of you, I don't think you realize that you can use the Dixie Belle patina paint without reactive solution. So I'm going to show you that, and a lot of you are going to wonder, why is it in this cup? Because I am a paint sprayer, and once I've mixed it with water so that it can be sprayed, it goes in this cup. But that doesn't mean I can't use it anymore. So we are going to use it on the top of this piece because I'm also frugal to a fault, and there's no point in wasting that, so I'm going to go ahead and do it. I was going to spray it, but I decided, what the hey, we'll do it together tonight. All right, so. All right, you know that I have to start with a damp brush, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with working with metallics, but if you're working with metallics, a damp brush is a must. I always stir my paint. I do not believe in shaking paint, but if you want to shake your paint, knock yourself out. It's totally up to you. I don't like to shake my paint because it causes bubbles, and I would much rather not have bubbles, because even though I'm brushing, if you brush a bubble onto your paint and it pops, guess what it leaves? It leaves a little baby crater, and we don't want baby craters on our piece. Whoop. Look at that. What do you want to guess that is? A dog hair. I would like to say thank you to everybody who has reached out to me. A beautiful woman passed away today, my mother-in-law. She was 83 years old and fabulous. She always lived life on her own terms, and I loved her dearly. So, prayers for the family would be greatly appreciated. All right, so here we go. Look at that. 2. I can't even blame it on the dogs, though. I've got so much hair, it could be mine. All right, so we're going to go back and forth. Now, if you know me, when I do the tops of pieces, I tell people this all the time. Work in the longest strokes that you can. I got to be honest with you. I've seen people and they brush back and forth and back and forth. Brush out to that end and brush out to that end if you can. I like nice, smooth, even strokes. I mean, I like it to be as long a stroke as I can, because I just think it gives you a much more even finish. Now, you're welcome to do it your way. I'm just telling you, as somebody who used to brush all the time, I do. If you've got other things in the room, be careful about letting your bristles flick, because if you let those bristles flip at the end of that, guess what you're going to do? You're going to end up flipping paint on something else. So be mindful of that, okay? If you're teaching a paint class or you're sitting in a paint class, you may be careful about your bristles, but if your neighbor is not, guess what happens? You end up with paint on your clothes even though it's not your fault. Now, if you're as messy as I am, that is a moot point, right? So it doesn't even matter. But like I say, on these edges, don't brush into your edges. Brush out to your edges, and you won't have all that pooling that happens a lot of times. I know a lot of people talk about having pooling. If you'll overlap your strokes slightly, I'm not talking a lot. If you'll overlap your strokes slightly, you'll get a smooth, even coverage without having to brush, okay? All right, don't mess with it. Once you've gotten it brushed on, leave it alone, okay? Leave it alone. Now, always go back and touch up, make sure you didn't have any runs. A lot of people don't go back and do this, and that's when you're gonna have a run. Go back and do your little brush around. Don't brush up on your top. Make sure and keep, see right there was a run. Make sure and keep your top off limits. You've already brushed it. You've already done a good job. Don't touch it, because if you're like me, you'll keep messing with it until you mess it up. And can't stand it when I do that. Now, a lot of people ask me how to make this look good. A lot of times I don't even put a clear coat on the vertical surfaces. if I've used a metallic, because if you put a clear coat on a vertical surface, it's just extra protection, because Dixie Belle doesn't need it. It does not need a top coat. And especially the metallics, some people complain that if they don't use at least a satin or a gator hide, that it kind of dulls the shine. And I can agree to that sometimes. I can see that. But on the tops of my pieces, I always put some type of protection. Typically, I use gator hide. And I don't know if you guys use gator hide that much, but gator hide is somewhere between satin and glossy. So even over the metallics, it gives a good shine. But if you don't think it's enough, put you a coat of gator hide on there, and then throw you a coat of gloss over the top of it, and it is the bomb diggity. Now, because I'm a sprayer, typically I don't do the vertical surface different than the top necessarily, because there's no need to. I've already got the top coat in the sprayer, so I do the entire piece either in gator hide or whatever. You know, you never can tell. But typically on my horizontal surfaces, I use gator hide, because I love the way that it holds up. I love the way that it sprays. I mean, it's just amazing. Now, you may feel differently, especially if you're a brusher. I know a lot of people have some issues with it, but I love the way it sprays. Now, I don't know if you can see, but this gave us a great top coat. And you can see, now we're going to have a little bit of a shimmer with our rusty truck look, okay? Because just because we've got a rusty truck doesn't mean it can't have some pretty things. Look at this. I got paint on my head. You guys should tell me that. So that's what you want to do. And a lot of times before I rinse my brush out, you know what I'll go back and do? I will go back and I will add a little bit of what's left in my brush in random places on this piece, because why not, right? Why not? Because it's too much fun and it adds a little bit of detail. But I don't know if you guys can tell from where you are, but on the top right in through here, if you guys can't see the piece for the comments, just swipe and the comments will disappear. But a lot of what you see on here is just, it's really pretty. We're gonna add a little bit there. All right. So now, can you guys see where I just added that? I'm gonna turn you down just a little bit, okay? I added just a little touch here and there. And I've added a little bit of a glimmer to these legs and everything. Now, if you know me, you know that this may or may not be it, because it's really hard for me to just walk away from it. But again, I'm also that person that sometimes I should have stopped 10 minutes ago. But what we're going to do is we're going to allow this top to dry. We're going to see how everything meshes. We're going to let our customer come in and look at it with the handles on it. I've already cleaned the inside of all of the drawers. I've already done all of these edges. That's another thing that people ask me about all the time. I've already gone back and brushed all of these edges so that if you open the drawer, they look similar to where it falls in this progression of the rusty look. But also the inside of these drawers, I made them smell nice and fresh with our Big Mama's butter, so that not only does it look good, but it smells good as well. If the customer opts not to buy this and I get to put it out on the floor, then we will put the would you bend on and I'll come on and do a quick live and show you, because this piece is curvy this way and curvy this way. So it's curvy in both directions. But you know the great thing about would you bend? I can warm it up and it contours. So we'll put a little bit of wood glue on here. We'll slap that on there and it'll be perfect. I've already painted it. It won't need anything but a little bit of wood glue and some heat, and it will be fantastic. And you know, we love things that turn out amazeballs. So I did want to come on here and let you guys see where we are with it. And I really wanted to add the would you bend, but I still got brown paint on me. But I really wanted to add the would you bend, but like I say, I had a customer that came in and she just loves it for her entry, but she likes it just like it is. So the would you bend may or may not happen. But if you have ordered would you bend from me, I'm sorry, but with my mother-in-law passing today, my husband really didn't get very much shipped out. We are going to ship it out tomorrow, so hang tight. And if you wanted to order would you bend from me, I'm sold out of several things, but I still have some left. Also, this technique is something that you may learn a little bit of in New Jersey. Did you see the Bells and Bow Tour? The New Jersey stop is less than 2 weeks away. Do you have a ticket? If you have a ticket, you know that we're doing 10 days of giveaways. If you don't have a ticket, go to the Bells and Bow Tour group and you might win a swag bag shipped right to you. Okay, so I just wanted you to see where we are. I am going to let this top dry, and I am going to let the customer come and look at it before I top coat. Actually, I'll probably top coat and then put the handles on and let her come and look at it. If we are going to put the wood U-bend on, stay tuned at 44 Marketplace and I will let you guys know. And that way you can watch me heat it up and you'll see that it curves this way, and you'll get to see how great the wood U-bend looks on there. Now I'm going to ask you one more question before I go. Who's watching Hallmark this weekend? Let me know in the comments. I'll answer them all. Thanks for watching. See you next Monday.